Hello everyone, welcome to our first book review of 2024. Bizarre, isn't it? We're already partway through January. I've only just not even got over Christmas. It's unbelievable. Anyway, I'm looking forward to a wonderful year reviewing books with you and reading your comments and things like that. So I can't wait. So let's begin. This first book, I had read so many great reviews on. People couldn't put it down. They were inspired by it. They couldn't stop thinking about it. So I just thought, right, this is the book for me. I'm really up for this. So I pushed all of my Christmas book reading aside, went out and bought the book and began reading and finished reading it. It is by Australian author Charlotte Wood. It is her latest Yard Devotional. I hope you can see that. Can you see that? I'm hoping you can. It's one, I think she's written about 4 or 5 now. She wrote The Weekend, The Natural Way of Things, I think, and The Luminous Solution, I'm sure. I haven't actually read any of Charlotte's books, sadly, but I did read this one. And as I say, I put everything aside to begin it. Now, I must say, first and foremost, I really enjoyed the formatting of the writing. It was done in such a way that it was written in such a way that it drew you in. No facts were given. In fact, it's first-person narrator. She is, you don't even get to know the name of the narrator. There's no background discussed at all. And it begins with some thoughts, almost like not quite, but almost like a diarized formatting of thoughts and events as they unfold and have unfolded in the past. You are drawn in right from the beginning because you want to know, what is this about? Who is this? What's happened to her? All of those questions. It just drew me in right from the beginning. It's based in Australia. I was a little upset. I was a little not quite happy. Perhaps that's not the right wording, but I really thought that being based in Australia, it could have had more environment in it. I wanted to feel as though I was in Australia. And to be quite honest, I forgot that I was reading it. I forgot that I was in Australia. You could have been anywhere. So that, I really wanted it to feel more like Australia. And it did, to me, it didn't. One thing I should say before I go on any further too is that this is just my opinion. Everybody gets something or doesn't get something out of reading a book. And that's the beauty of reading. It's the beauty of writers. They will give something to someone, but it may not suit someone else. The formatting of this, the way Charlotte draws you in, almost with mystery, I really enjoyed. The characters, not so much. And the environment. As I say, I wanted to be in Australia reading an Australian book by an Australian author. From memory, I think it was based in the Blue Mountains, in an abbey in the Blue Mountains. It just didn't feel like Australia. I also did not at all connect to any of the characters. Not one of them. In actual fact, the first word I thought of when I put the book down when I'd finished was that I felt cold about it. I'm I'm not unhappy that I've read it. It's not one of those books where I thought I've wasted my time reading this. It's not that at all. Certainly not. And I didn't not enjoy it. But it just, as I say, I did not connect with the characters, and I did not connect with the environment within the book. In fact, I just felt that there was no environment. It almost felt, to me, two-dimensional. It was just flat to me. Look, I'm very much a person who enjoys self-reflection and reflecting on life. We have a number of animals over the years, right from my childhood. So I've dealt with death and life and tragedy and sickness and all of that. This book deals with some of that, deals with death. In fact, it sort of really is not based on death, but there's a story of death of marriage, death of friendship, or death literally of life. But there were a few things that I found particularly was that the protagonist, the narrator, I felt that she was cold-hearted. I didn't get a warmth from her at all with the things that had been going on in her life and surrounding her. I felt that had she become cold-hearted, or was she just cold-hearted? I didn't get a warmth from that at all. And following on from that, I felt that the the protagonist was... I just felt like she didn't grow with all of these things that had been going on and that she was talking about. I didn't feel a growth in the character. Was that deliberate? Is it that she wasn't meant to grow, or have I missed something? And I keep thinking about that. Have I missed... I was very much in the mood to read it. I wanted to read this book, so it's not as though I was closed off from it, and it's not as though I'm a closed off person. As I say, I'm self-reflective and reflective on the way of life, but I found it interesting, but I didn't find it inspirational or it. In fact, I understand that the book was dealing with death of many things in life, but I didn't really get it. So I was, as I say, at the end, I was just cold about it. I was a bit flat about it. I didn't feel as though I'd wasted my time reading it, but I just didn't get it. And like I say, there were a couple of things in here too. There was one or two things that happened in her life, just tiny things that nature does, that were discussed unnecessarily, I thought. You can deal with death, literal death of life, but there were some gruesome bits in it that I didn't get it. So I just, would I read more of Charlotte Wood's books? Perhaps, but I'm not going to rush out and just yet. I may do. I think I just sort of have to get over reading this first. I think I'll just let it go for a little while and maybe I will read one or two of her other books, but I'm not going to rush out. I never like to say to people, look, I give it a 5-star or 4-star. I don't believe in that, because what does that mean? Does the 5-star mean that she's a lovely person as an author? Does it mean that it's written well? Does it mean that the story's great? I won't do that. And I certainly wouldn't say don't read it. I think it would be interesting, if you haven't already read it, to read it. And please let me know what you think. I would be really interested. Have I missed something? Have I not really got it? And I should. I don't know. Like I say, I really enjoyed the formatting. I enjoyed the writing. She pulled me in. At no point did I think throughout this book, oh, I've got to put this down. I'm just, I can't be bothered. It's not like that at all. I wanted to read it to the end. I wanted to see how I felt and how the story developed. If you're going to read it, it's not a story that develops. And as I say, I really feel that the character just didn't seem to grow or develop by the end of it. And in fact, nor does she sort of indicate that she has throughout this time in her life. It's almost like she's just on the same road, but decided to take that path instead of that one. I'm not quite sure yet. Look, I may read it again in another 12 months and give you a completely different opinion. But right now, as enthusiastic as I was to read this, it's not my favourite. And I just I didn't get out of it what I wanted to get out of it. Perhaps you will. So please let me know. The book is published by Allen and Unwin here in Australia in 2023, so just last year. Charlotte Wood is an Australian author. It is based in Australia, but personally, as I say, I didn't get the impression that it was Australia. There just wasn't a feel to that. There was no environmental discussion about the environment that indicated it was Australia. I'll just get my reading glasses on so that I can actually see. I think it's only 300 pages, I think. Yes, 291 pages. So not a heavy book to read. It's not a large book. You could, depending on your speed of reading, you certainly get through it. Well, definitely get through it in the week. But if you're a fast reader, you get through it maybe in a day or 2 days. So that's Yard Devotional, Charlotte Wood. I'm still thinking about it in that not so much the book, but where I've perhaps gone wrong in understanding it. And like I say, I may give you a different impression if I was to read it again in a year or two. Who knows? But please, if you have read it, let me know what you think. I would be really appreciative of any indication that you can give me where I've gone wrong or points that I've missed in this. Or in fact, maybe I haven't. Maybe that was the whole thing. Maybe there are people who don't change regardless of the life experiences that they have. And maybe she was cold-hearted. Have I missed the point? I really am concerned about that. I've missed something, I'm sure. But anyway, if you haven't read it, please do. It's not a waste of a read. Definitely not. And it may get us really talking, and maybe that's the point too. Like all books, isn't it? Some people don't like Great Expectations. I actually think it's one of the best books ever written. Some people don't like Jane Austen. Others don't like modern day books. This is the beauty of reading. It really is. And it gets you it gets you talking and gets you thinking. And if that's one thing it has done, it has got me thinking about my ability to read and my ability to interpret. It certainly has done that. So kudos to Charlotte in that regard. Do let me know what you think. And until next week, have a wonderful week. Enjoy reading. Enjoy working if you're working. Enjoy the sun. Enjoy the rain. Whatever weather you're in, enjoy it. Life's good. Okay, so until next time, bye for now.